the process of substitution is prior to today we would have had questions which said x plus y equals 10. If x equals 4, what is y? You would substitute x with 4, so it would become 4 plus y equals 10. Y will equal, now to get rid of the 4 on that side, what would you have to do, Jaden?
Divided by 4.
No, you wouldn't. Jess Manners? You'd have to take 4. You've got 4 there. You want to get rid of it, so you'd have to take 4. And then you'd have to take 4 on that side. 10 take 4. Y must equal 6. Now, you've probably been doing that since about year 8. Probably, hopefully. Maybe not. But simple substitution is just replacing an unknown with something that you do know. Okay, so if we go back, substitution, solving simultaneous equations for substitution, what you're trying to solve here is you're trying to find x and you're trying to find y. That's what you're trying to find out. And so when you get it in this form, x plus y equals a number, y equals 4x, all we're going to do is we're going to remove this out of equation 1 and put this from equation 2 in there. So you'll be left with x plus 4x equals 10. Notice that this stays the same, the 10, and this stays the same, the x. So we're substituting it in. X plus 4x gives you what, Jared?
5x.
Good. 5x equals 10. How can we get rid of the 5 there, Toby?
Divided by 5.
Divide both sides by 5. That would give you 1. We'd divide that by 5. So x equals 10 divided by 5. X will equal 2. So we believe that x will equal 2. We've simplified. We've gone through a process that we've known. We believe that x will equal 2. And so we put it into equation 2. We put our known now into equation 2. Y equals 4x. And 4x, Michaela, says to us 4 times 2. Okay? There's nothing in between, so y will equal 4 times whatever we determined x to be, which we figured it was 2. We now say we reckon y equals 8. Now again with this learning, we can do a check. And we can pop it into either one of these. I generally pop it back into Formula 1. X plus y equals 10. X we believe is 2. Y we believe is 8. Does that equal 10? Yes, it does. So we know we've got the answer right. So you can do this little check by popping. Once you've got x and y, you can pop them back into equation 1. Now, hands up if you're well and truly into substitution and you're sort of getting it. Most of you should be, particularly those from Blue Group, but this is some of the problem. You've digressed onto your DI, which is okay, but you've got to keep up your class learning, okay? So, substitution is simply substituting in the first instance the 4x from equation 2 into equation 1, replacing the y with 4x. You solve for x, and then you pop what you think is x into equation 2, which is here. Y equals 4 times 2, which equals 8, and then you do your little check. And you can do that for each and every one of them. Okay. The difficulty comes, I think, as you found, Michaela, is when there's negative signs and that sort of thing going on. It can become convoluted, but that's for a later time. The process of elimination is pretty simple, and some of you will like this a little bit better. The process of elimination gets you to simply subtract one equation from the other. Okay? To subtract one equation from the other equation. If you've got x take x, what do you end up with? X take x? Nothing. So you've got rid of the x's. What that leaves you with is negative 2y plus 5y gives you what? 3y. And 2 plus 1 is y equals, we'd have to divide both sides by 3, Jaden, yeah? Divide that by 3, divide that by 3. We reckon that y equals 1. We believe y equals 1. Okay? Then we can just pop it into one of these equations. X take 2y equals 1. X take 2 times 1, so we're just popping that in there, equals 1. X take 2 equals 1. X will equal, whoops, I got a bit carried away there. I was thinking it and did it. To get rid of the take 2 on that side, we take it over, so it becomes plus 2. 1 plus 2, x equals 3. Do you think we can check that? Yes, we can. Check. I'd put it into the equation that you haven't used. Say x is equal to negative 3 plus 5 times, we thought equaled 1, should equal 2. Negative 3 plus 5 should equal 2. Negative 3 plus 5 is 2, and it equals 2, so we know we've got it right. So again, there's two methods of doing it. Now, as you get a bit more difficult questions, obviously, they can become a bit more difficult using the process of elimination. If you looked on page 114 of your textbook, page 114, you will see there that in B, okay, in B, they're having to do some adjustments on page 114. Subtract the two equations to eliminate y since they are the same sign. Okay, so there's a bit of stuff to do there. Blue group, you're probably going to want to know, or it'll be good for you to know, process of elimination. So when you're doing your questions, you can throw in process of elimination if you want to. Okay, and most of you are moving through that pretty reasonably. Green group, I'm just exposing you to the process of elimination. It may be something that is more understandable than this process, but you certainly won't be tested on the process of elimination. But I know, I think Ellen and Michaela and even you, Jess, are starting to work your way through this pretty well. You might just try it with a few questions and just see if that process is actually better for you. Jaden and Jared, you're a bit further behind, which is sort of okay at this stage. You probably go with the substitution method. Okay. Now that'll throw up some problems. I think you're into it fairly well, aren't you now? Yeah. It will throw up some problems initially. Jared, you just might need a bit of support. Also, remember to go back to page 110. That's where those examples are. Okay. Work with them first, because remember, when you get stuck, there's lots of different things that you can do. Alright. Blue group, probably get back on track with your class learning and work through this process, and if you finish some of that class learning and your DI, you can go through that process of elimination, because I think that's pretty handy to know, especially if you're looking at doing physics and those sorts of subjects as well. Okay? Alright.